Welcome to the Zen Supermom podcast. The episode today is for you if you're tired of feeling judged and like you have to prove you're enough, you're good enough constantly. Want to get rid of that? Let's go. Hi, I'm Elena Gomez Rodriguez, and I'm a mental fitness coach for busy moms. And this is the first podcast to help you increase your stress resistance so that you can become a Zen supermom and simply do it all while staying calm and happy. Welcome to the Zen Supermom podcast. Hi, my name is Elena. I'm a mommy tantrum specialist, and I'm the founder of the Zen Supermom system, where we help loving but stressed out moms stay calm, set healthy boundaries, so that you feel at peace knowing that your kids are growing up feeling loved unconditionally, which is something that most likely you were missing growing up, correct? And in this podcast, I'm talking a lot about situations and experiences of not only the women we work with, but also my own experiences. And it's going to be the case today because even though I never take notes for this podcast, but I'm just trying to see the line through in advance. And there are a couple of juicy stories from my own life that I want to share with you. So we are going to have a lot of fun today if you're ready for it. And as usual, it was this topic for the episode today was triggered by a session with one of my clients, still from the times when I was doing all the one-to-ones myself. And we just had her last session yesterday night, and she will recognize herself through the story. So hi, well done for being. You see how you're already making a ripple effect through your healing. You're helping others heal as well. That's what I also told her in our last session yesterday. And usually this is also the bridge that I want to build with my personal stories, because usually I don't share any of my personal stories during the sessions with my clients, because they will teach you in any coaching, therapy school, you have to stay a clean mirror for your client. None of your stories, none of your experiences or biases, your judgments can ever come into a session, because that would pollute the learning for the client, right? But because this was our last session and we were having so much fun, like she's done, right? Five sessions, she's ready to fly. I told her, fly, butterfly. So I allowed to show myself, not only show up as a coach and a trauma healer, but also as me, because something, and let's start there, because this is the most fun piece out of what I wanted to share with you today. So we were talking through it, like what is still bothering her, if there is any last piece of anything that we need to clean up, because she's no longer yelling or getting stressed out about her son. We have managed to go and heal her burnout, which was very urgent and very serious. She was almost hitting the rock bottom. We did manage to put even her partnership on track. We were, and I want to tell you about this, we were cleaning up the relationship with her own mother as well. But after like all of this, goes, okay, done, good to fly, good with these. She was thinking about, because I was asking her, so is there any last piece that is still kicking you in the butt and you have no idea why, and you want my help in like finding out what's going on, seeing the pattern, connecting the dots for you, because this is why it's useful to have somebody else, right? Not just your friend who will tell you, oh, poor you, and you're so right, and it's his fault, or it's the kid, and la la la. They will have a lot of empathy for you, most likely if you're good friends, but because they will get in with you, they will miss seeing the bigger picture and connecting the dots that as somebody else can do. Because even though I feel I have a lot of compassion for my clients, I'm not your friend. I'm not going to be there listening to your stories and feeling just sorry for you. Then I would be of no help, right? So as we were going through this, I was asking her, so what other dots do you want me to connect for you? She brought up this situation where I had to laugh and come up as myself, not just a coach, because she was telling me, there are these moms at my son's school, and I caught myself. I caught it now after a couple of years. It took me years, and only thanks to your help now, I realized that I'm still playing the high school girl kind of game in my mind. There is this mom who is so successful and she has a wealthy husband, so they are a rich family, and I feel like I want to be friends with her, but then she has this friend who's so pretty and she talks about her this way, like, and this is my friend and she's so pretty, isn't she, and da 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 da. And what that did to my client, that she realized how not wealthy, how not pretty she was feeling, and how much she was longing for the friendship of these moms, of these other women. And she caught it. She was like, oh my goodness, what am I doing to myself? This is completely insane. And I started laughing because I was telling her, well, so first of all, congratulations. If this is your biggest problem, then we have really done a great job. Congratulations to you. And good job at catching it. Because now think for yourself. Yeah, we are usually talking about big stuff in this podcast, like feeling ashamed for yelling at your kids, your marriage going down the drain, you getting burned out physically, emotionally, everything, like, whoo, so heavy. But did you catch also these little things? And I'm putting air quotes now on the little things, because those are often things we judge as, like, you go through your day without even realizing what you're doing to yourself, don't you? And this is where I jumped up, like in that session with my client, because I told her, congratulations also, you're human. And I told her, it still even happens to me sometimes. Would that help you knowing that? Not that bad anymore as it used to be. But this is the teaching moment also for you, mom, who's listening or watching. Whenever you catch yourself feeling not good enough, longing for somebody's attention, approval, so that you could feel kind of like comfortable and safe and like you matter. Whenever you catch that, then this is the mental fitness ninja trick you can do. It's not about the other person. It's not about what you're trying to get from them. It points, actually, you can turn that pointer from them to you to learn what is it that you're missing. What is it about you that's triggering it? Because also my client, she was like super transparent. She told me, I'm torn with that first mom. I'm judging her. That's how it started. I was judging her for marrying a rich guy and not having to work. She's not doing anything during her day. She has it so easy. She doesn't have any of the struggle that I have. She doesn't have to worry about so many things that I have to worry about. And this is where I laughed and I said, this is exactly, after years of working on myself, whenever I find myself being judgmental, and I don't want to say any bad words, but yeah, sometimes I still can turn into a B word. Whenever I catch those voices in my head doing that to me, it is usually exactly for the same type of women who married rich, who my judge is judging them for having it way too easy and having no idea what the real life is, being lazy and spoiled and entitled, and basically the story, the victim story, the judging story in my head is that it's not fair, okay? That it's not part of the world justice, how the world should be, okay? And the good news is, for me, and I'm sharing that with you so that you could start catching it for yourself as well. Now that I have done so much work, What I managed to do is within a few seconds, whenever I hear those voices again, I go, hi victim, hi judge, nice to see you again, not this time. And I flip it back, like I told you, flip that pointer back to you. Whenever you feel like you're judging anybody else for whatever they are doing or for whatever they are having, flip the pointer back to you. What does that say about you? And I will point the finger at me. What it was telling about me, that I grew up in a family where hard work was praised and not only appreciated but expected. It was a norm. There were beliefs flying around like success comes from hard work and hustle. Money doesn't come easy. If it does, it's too good to be true. You have to earn and deserve respect and credibility, and to be able to feel good about yourself. You absolutely cannot afford to be lazy. You have to work until you until you die, basically. Okay, and based on that, then even further on, fueled by my own life path that took me to working abroad, building career, because my mom was my role model, and she was a CFO, she was chief finance officer back there in Czech Republic. So I had this blueprint in my mind that I not only have to work hard, but I have to be successful, and I have to prove to everybody that I can do it. And so that further was fueling my career abroad. And because that was in the western part of Europe, where the Eastern people are judged as, not good enough again. And whatever girls are coming from the East, they are judged for, or at least that's what I heard, not directly from my friends, of course, but from a friend of a friend, a colleague of a colleague, making idiot jokes like, well, it's okay, the company is firing, you can always stay here as a cleaning lady. Or when accidentally, here we go now with my juicy personal stories. I started dating a guy in Belgium. It was like, 15, 16, 17 years ago. I don't even know. That makes me feel really old. I met a guy at the gym, and by the way how he was dressed up and everything, like, you would have no idea. But only later on, after we were dating for a while, I learned from his friend that he's coming from a really rich family, that his dad is some kind of like business guy in medical field, dealing with like selling blood to companies creating drugs from it, like medicaments, pills, or different treatments. So he was super rich. I had no idea from dating the guy. He was normal. He seemed nice. He was really nice. But then when I met one of his friends, and my boyfriend at the time, he left to go to the bathroom, and the friend started attacking me. Like, yeah, and did you already have a ride in the Ferrari of his father? Because that's why you're with him, right? And started making nasty comments. And it really made me feel like I want to dump this guy straight away. I wanted to walk away from that restaurant, to say, like, I want nothing to do with this. This is not why I'm here. Are you crazy? And it felt so hurtful to be judged like that. So this is where my bias and judgment, this is where my beliefs were coming from about rich people, about marrying rich, about how easy the life is. And because I never wanted to be judged as somebody who did that, therefore, now finally getting to the bottom of my story, I was judging all the moms who were stay-at-home moms because their husband was earning enough to let her stay at home. Because I stayed at home as well for 2 years, but I paid it with my own savings. Again, proud of myself, right? The beliefs. my parents' expectations, my parents' beliefs, right? And all of this, I don't want to call it trauma, that wouldn't be the right word, but all of this pain I heard when people were judging me as an Eastern European girl coming to the West, what my intentions were. So, long story short, who are you judging these days? Who are you pointing finger at, thinking it's not fair, they have it easy? And if you start turning that finger, what does that tell you about where you still need to keep on healing yourself? What are some of the beliefs that are not true, that are kicking you in the butt? Because is it true that rich people have it easy? I have met more of them since then, I can tell you it's not. Is it true that money comes only from hard hustle, and that unless you become a super workaholic, that you cannot have a comfortable, happy life? No. And especially, I can tell you, if you're a mom who's thinking about starting your own business, this is going to kick you in the butt a big time. It did with me when I left that corporate world and my fat monthly paycheck and went to ground zero, starting my business. This kicked my butt a big time. So, start working through your beliefs. Start uncovering all of those things that you took for granted for all of your life, thinking, well, this is it, and the world is kind of black and white, and either you're with me or you're against me. See what that's doing to you. In the positive and in the negative way. Judging people for like putting them down so that you don't have to feel so bad about yourself, but also judging people in a positive way and putting them on a pedestal. Yeah. She's so pretty, so she has it easy. Like, I wish I was that pretty so that I could feel better about myself. Start catching all those beliefs. Because yeah, we are here again, like bigger picture. We are here because you're a mom who's yelling at your kids, you're burning out, you want to find a way how not to do that. And this might look like a silly example, too light of a problem to talk about it. But you see, as you go through your day, the noise in your head, no matter how heavy or light it is still a noise, and it's stealing your calm. It's preventing you from feeling at peace. Enough. Good enough. Right here, right now. And as long as you will still feel you have to prove something to somebody, anybody, you will not get there. And it will imprint on your kids. Because watch how those beliefs start showing up with your kids. Just like what your parents were talking about, the comments they were making intentionally when they were trying to teach you a lesson, but also unintentionally when they didn't even realize you were looking and observing. Your mom standing in front of a mirror and making comments about her figure or how she was dressing. And what you started believing about physical appearances afterwards as well, right? How that rubbed off on you. Make sense? So, back to my client. This is where I was joking with her. Like, yeah, I'm just a human. I have these moments from time to time as well. But this is when 2 years ago, I realized I no longer care anymore. Physical appearances, money, whatever old beliefs I used to have. This is when I shaved my head to completely opt out of the race. Trying to prove I was good enough, trying to win somebody's attention, somebody showing me that they care, and worrying when I was feeling I didn't have it. Okay, so I'm not telling you go shave your head now to prove yourself that you don't care, but start paying attention to those voices in your head that steal your calm, because this is all part of it. Okay. This would be my point number 1, what I wanted to share with you in my client session yesterday. We did go deeper with this client, and it does tie to the topic of judgments and not feeling good enough. because this came to her mom. This was the heaviest piece that still needed cleaning up, and it is for most of my clients. Once you stop yelling at your kids, once you start healing the trauma that is causing it, you realize it is coming back to your childhood. And many of the women I work with need to go through a grieving process when they realize what they didn't have, that they should have had, that every child deserves. The moment you're born, you deserve to feel loved unconditionally, to feel seen and heard and worthy of appreciation. That's the way you are, without doing anything, without being anybody. Every child deserves that, to feel safe and to feel like you can count on your parents to give you that, to make you feel that way. And if you're here listening to the podcast or even then working with me and my team, it means you didn't have it. And yes, that's a sad fact. And my heart is breaking for you because I know exactly how that feels. And at the same time, I always then offer the shift of perspective to my clients to let them see where is the opportunity and where is the gift in it. Which might sound crazy, because like, what's good at having your childhood? That sucked. I deserved better. They shouldn't have hurt me willingly or like knowingly or unintentionally. I did not deserve that. Absolutely, I agree. So step number 1, grieve. Stop wishing it would have had been different. Grieve it. Second step, what we do in our one-to-one sessions. I'm sorry, I cannot do that here with you in the podcast. You need to work with somebody one-to-one who knows how to heal childhood trauma. You need to heal childhood trauma. Your inner child, the part of you that is still hurting. Because whenever throughout your life there were situations too difficult for you to handle, so especially in your childhood when your nervous system is not developed enough and you don't understand anything, that any mistake that your parents made in raising you, you feel like it's your fault at the beginning. Okay, you feel like, okay, they didn't love me enough. They didn't come when I was crying at night. They didn't show me they loved me. They punished me for making mistakes, for getting angry, for crying. Like, okay, it's my fault. Because it's too life-threatening to imagine for a child that it would be the fault of your parent, like that they are not perfect. Realizing that you're in a care, that your life depends on people who are not perfect. That would be a completely destabilizing and the thought that would lead to a nervous breakdown. So what you did logically, perfect strategy for survival, was you blamed it on yourself. It was my fault that my parents didn't love me enough. Okay. And you started developing all those trauma coping mechanisms and the voices in your head to judge yourself before anybody else judges you, to punish yourself for not being good enough so that you would do your best to be good enough, be a good girl, listen to everything they say so that they never get upset, walk on eggshells, right? This is the classic generational gender trauma we have as women. So the second step after you grieve, you didn't have the good childhood you deserved, not in every way. The second step is healing healing your inner child who is still suffering, because that pain, you're still feeling it now. That's what comes up as that uncontrollable anger at your kids or your partner, husband. And then, ninja level, should you choose to accept this invitation, this is where we went to with my client yesterday. The ninja level is once you feel enough self-compassion and unconditional self-love for yourself, then you can start feeling it for your parents as well. So you will no longer get triggered by them still being needy. Because did you notice, was it also the case with your parents that you feel like they had you so that you would love them unconditionally? Because they were hurting so much, they didn't love themselves. They wanted your approval. They wanted to feel like, I'm good because I'm a good parent. Like, I can feel good enough because I'm sacrificing everything for you, my child. And I was not lucky with my parents loving me, with my husband loving me, so I'm going to have kids so that now you love me, right? Because I'm your mother. Who else would you love? As a way to get unconditional love. That was the case of my client. That's how she felt with her mother, that her mother had kids just so that she would have somebody who would love her unconditionally. But it backfired, right? And now I bet there will be some moms listening and you realize you're expected the same from your kids. So it's okay. Breathe. No judging here. Compassion. Keep listening. It's okay. You didn't damage them for life. You can still turn it around. That's exactly why you're listening. So stay with me. Okay. You need to heal. But then going back, third step, once you heal, once you feel good enough, finally, just the way you are, without having to do or prove anything else to anybody else, once you have enough of that self-compassion, then you can have the compassion for your parents and anybody else who was triggering you previously. Okay, so this was the case of my client. She felt, after going through these stages, first, she was a people pleaser and good girl when she was little. So she was getting caught up in her mother's drama, her mother being the victim and the drama queen to get the attention of her children and feel loved, finally. That was the first stage. My client got caught up in that. Second stage, when we started working together, she started healing her inner child. She started recognizing what the heck, this dynamic that was going on. And now I'm playing it on with my son. She started healing it, but it made her angry. So then in her relationship with her mom, she was getting angry. Like, it's my mom's fault, basically. And she could see it still happening. Whenever she went to meet her mom, and this is the funny thing about expat moms, right? You don't see your parents too often, which is good and bad at the same time. When she was going to see her mom, she started seeing that dynamic, that her mom was still having her victim stories and trying to make everybody feel sorry for her so that she would get at least some attention. And now my client, from years and decades of being the good girl and being part of that drama and trying to make her mom feel good, she went to the opposite side. She was like, not anymore. Like, this is your fault. I'm your child. You should have loved me. Like, I'm the one who deserves the unconditional love. How dare you playing the victim? You screwed me up, right? That's the second stage. Third stage, where I was inviting my client to go whenever she's ready, is having compassion also for her mom. Seeing the inner child of her mom, who never got loved. And again, it didn't start with you, the anger and the trauma. It didn't even start with your parents. They did the best they could. They didn't have the trauma awareness, all the psyche research and healing and proof and methods. You do. So this is what the invitation from my client was. Once you feel ready, once you build yourself up enough with that self-compassion and unconditional self-love, what you will be able to see is that your mom deserves the compassion. And not because you're a people pleaser, not because you want to be her good girl, but you will see her inner child that still hurts, waiting to be loved unconditionally. And this is where the true ripple effect of your healing is. Once you start going on this journey, you not only heal yourself, all the blah, 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 and pain you're feeling, you not only set your kids for the right path, if there's anything like the one right path, but you make sure they are strong enough because they have that self-worth and self-love. But then what you also start doing is start healing your other relationships, sometimes including the relationships with your own parents and your friends and people you meet around. Because from the old way of judging people and getting triggered, if they are not being reasonable, if they are wrong, or if there's something wrong with them, you will see it points back to you. And that the only way to get through is you connecting with your self-love, with your healed inner child. Like, no reason to freak out anymore. I'm feeling okay. And from that place, you'll be able to have that compassion and love for others. Makes sense? I know, it's quite a journey, right? And maybe you didn't expect it. You were like, just tell me 1, 2, 3, how I can stop yelling at my kids and for them to finally listen. Yeah, that's where everybody meets me. And then as they start uncovering what is at the root of everything and how to heal that, you start realizing the ripple effect. It just goes as the stone you would throw into a calm lake. It's just like, it starts spreading the ripple effect of your healing. And that's why it's worth it. And that's what I love about that so much. I don't think there's a better job in the world for me than this. I love seeing those ripple effects. And I love hearing from my clients a couple of months later when they come back and they tell me, oh my goodness, I had no idea. And yeah, I did it. And it feels even better than I could ever imagine. It was worth it. Because they all tell me at the beginning, I was afraid of the pain. I was afraid of going back to my childhood experiences, what it would do. I tried to shut the door, and especially if there was a shock trauma. I work, unfortunately, with so many women who went through sexual abuse by their family members or from strangers. It's heartbreaking either way. So many women who come and tell me, yeah, I'm able to see how I'm screwed up. It's because I was bullied at school. And I tell them, sorry, my dear, it goes deeper than this. You were bullied only because something happened before that allowed for you to become a victim of bullying, that prevented you from stepping up, getting the effective help, and getting out of the bullying situation. It goes deeper than that. It goes back to your childhood and the relationship with your own parents. And then the clients come and tell me, yeah, I was afraid of going there. I was afraid of digging out the dirt I did my best to forget about for the last 30 years of my life. But it was so worth it. Finally, for the first time of my life, I can feel how it feels to be at peace and to, like, seriously love myself. Everybody's talking about self-love, unconditional love. What does that even mean? How does that even look like? And I cannot describe that to you. You will feel it yourself once you get on this journey. And then watch out, because anything can happen. So, we went through a lot of places today. From judging others into realizing where that's coming from on your end and what to do instead. And I think I made a dedicated episode about judgments and comparisons. I think it was episode 16. We will link it up for you, link it below this episode. So you can go deeper at it if you want to really look into it, that you stop feeling judged when you want to stop feeling criticized by others. There was the episode when I went even deeper on that. We went also in other places that are including your parents and your childhood and what it takes to heal that, all of these relationships. Because no chit chat in your head is small or big enough. There are no small or big problems that you're having that prevent you from being calm now. It all counts. It all needs to get cleaned up piece by piece. So I appreciate you for having the courage to do that. And how do I know you are courageous? Because you stayed with me till the end. You didn't turn it off. You are here to get help. And you are a generational trauma breaker. You will have that ripple effect of healing throughout the life, not only of your family, but much wider than that. And I appreciate you because I see you. I know it's not easy. I know it's painful at times. It's not easy to look at ourselves, right? It would be so easy to point the fingers at other people. And I appreciate you for having the courage to to do what it takes and do have a look inside. What is it that it will take in you? Because that's the good news. We don't have to wait for anybody else changing. By you taking responsibility for your peace, you will have that ripple effect of healing throughout all the other relationships, even without other people changing or situations changing. That's why it's worth it. You get your power back by focusing on what it is that you can do. So I appreciate you for having the courage to admit that, yes, it starts with me. So I hope this episode was helpful for you. And I cannot wait to hear from you. I love reading all the notes from women who are listening or watching this podcast about the aha moments they're getting and how it helped them. So keep it coming. I appreciate the feedback. And also, if you want to let me know what else you want me to dissect for you and kind of structure step by step, let me know. I'm always talking based on my client sessions or based on the group, what I see with our other clients, or my own life. But if there's a situation that you feel like I haven't talked about yet in the last more than a year of this podcast, then let me know. I'd love to hear from you. All right, then, Mom, I'm going to let you go. Get back to your busy day and start watching that blah blah in your head, okay? You've got this.